Right, evening all, afternoon all, and welcome. Another part of the gearbox and whatever. Overdrive, and down here, oops, upside down is a little giraffe thing for the levels. I noticed when because I've been on a long drive to Scotland and back, and in between it was thrown out all out the overdrive. I don't ask me why it does, but it does. I've just got to rear-end check and tighten. I've topped it up twice now. About I've got a 500ml pop bottle, but you know, and I topped that up with oil, and so it took about half a 500ml, so 250ml on about 500 miles. The gearbox, I've checked the oil on there, and excuse me, it's very difficult to do when you're out, and I haven't got it. I made that little funnel with it's a bit slow to fill. I've checked the gearbox, and I've literally put 2 funnels full, but evidently that's not too bad, because I was never 100% it was full, and it's full out a bit more of that, so it probably took just a funnel, so the overdrive isn't leaking into the gearbox and overfilling it, which is good. It is actually leaking out, because underneath, when I checked it, when I'd done about 500 miles, that's what it is. Excuse the cutter, because somebody's cutting the grass or whatever they're doing over there. So it's just normal tests that you do, which you would not service, because it is a Land Rover. It's not a modern vehicle where you can just leave it alone for 2 years. So that's all topped up, checked. I'm just going to go back under now, check a few nuts and bolts, because as you say, it is a new gearbox. It's only been in, and now it's done about 1,500 miles. So it'll just be checked round with the spanners. I did notice my yellow knob popped off, my red knob popped off, and then coming home, my overdrive spindle shaft bolt here started to uncoil and nearly dropped out, so I must pinch that tight actually. Little tinker you, and silly little things like that. So yeah, it's coming well. And the next thing I've got to do is the dash. I have no dash lights again. There's a fault somewhere, so it looks like I'll be having to strip the dash out, which is not going to make me very happy. But here you go, because coming home in the dark, you can't tell what speed you're doing or anything, and of course lots of cameras about. I mean, yes, I know it doesn't do more than 70, but well, it does 70, but it'll certainly do 50 to 60 miles an hour, and when you go through some of the cameras at 50 and 40, you have to be careful. So that's another job got to be done, and that's got to be done because I'm going back to Scotland soon. Anyway, enough said. Just a general check over video, but like I keep saying, you got to do it. You've got to do it. £1,200, well, 11 to £1,200 gearbox. You don't want to be doing that every day. Anyway, folks, I'll catch you on in a bit. I notice my heater cable is a bit stick and stiffy, and I've noticed also, as you can see, some green here. So there's a leak somewhere in the water system around here. So it looks as though I shall have to order one of these little heat doobries. I can't think what it is at the moment, but I'll certainly find out, because there's evidently water coming past here somewhere when I'm trying to work it and operate it, and it's stiff. So rather than disconnect the cable now and trying to oil it through and then put it back on, I'll get another one of these ordered. They're not expensive, and do the cable then. So that's another thing down on the list to do. A little bit of water, doesn't matter though, but you don't want any water leaking if you can help it. The water and the oil's all been good on the engine so far. I've checked them all again from the run, so I'm quite happy with that. Well, I think I topped about less than half a cupful on the engine, and then the water's not moved anything. But little things like this, you never know whether they're going to make it any worse. I also did change the hose clips, as you can notice here, some time ago. I've got spare pipes, hoses. The fan belt needs a bit of a tighten up, but I'm not worried too much about that. I'd rather have it slightly slacker than slightly tighter, because then you shag the bearings up on the pumps and stuff, and it still goes around and charges, so who cares. Anyway, time for the major job to start, I'm afraid, which is putting the new parabolic springs on the front. So I'm going to move it down to the curb so it backs into the curb, and then start the process, I think. Anyway, cheers folks. Lovely bushes. There you go. Honeysuckle berries. Anyway, stamped up, ready to go. I have 2 axle stands. They're not the best, but they're alright. They're a little bit better. One up from Chocolate. 2 axle stands plus the jack under the centre, gearbox mount. Just takes a pinch off it, just so it, whatever. Pushed against it a few times. It doesn't move. The water leak I was mentioning is now leaking big time, bloody nuisance. So what I'm going to do now is take the drums off, check the brakes, check the bearings, working my way through, undo the track rod ends, just do the pull weight 12 foot-pounds. If not, then I'll take an adjustment and take a shim out. I'll show you how to do that, but good old Mr. Phil from Steamwell is the man for that. But I'll take you along, ain't a problem. As you can see, a little bit rusty, but let's see about getting the springs changed anyway, and a few other little jobs, because there's lots of travelling to do in this soon. Cheers. There's never a right or wrong way, I don't think, but got the shock absorber out, okay. Even managed to undo the U-bolts. There you go. Still in good condition, no rust, no nothing, because it's been wax oiled. The back suspension bolt is proving obstinate, even with a bar, etc. I'm going to try the front one, see if that's just as pain in the bottom. The rear springs are off, the what's named off, so let's just see what we can do on the front. I'm reluctant to get underneath the vehicle when it's just held on by a couple of little axle stands and a jack, but never mind, we'll see. Cheers.